Well, this episode is about chapter 16. But first, I am going to tell you a story. Now, I'm going to tell you a true story. It's not about me. The story was related to me like fourth hand. But there was once a young woman who went off to college, and her school was far away, and so she moved out of the house and into the dorms there. And since she was away from home, she began to correspond with her father. And once she was away from home, she corresponded with him by writing letters, and that dates the story to some degree. And so school started, and everything was going smoothly. Several months had passed, and in her letters, her father began to receive some letters from her where she was expressing a particular concern. And she was equal parts complaining and equal parts asking why this was so and wanting help, needing help with this issue. She wasn't having problems at school. She was enjoying the major that she had selected, and the workload was what she had expected. She wasn't feeling overwhelmed, experiencing something that she hadn't expected. And she wasn't having any problems with other students or with the teachers. She was adjusting to life well. There was no relationship type issues. She wasn't having trouble being away from home. Everything truly was going well. Well, the issue she was writing to her father about was happiness, or rather, more specifically, her lack of happiness. She was very surprised after beginning what she thought would be some exciting, thrilling new chapter in her life that she was not as happy as she thought she would be. More specifically, she was not as happy as she thought she should be. So, happiness, is it complicated or is it simple? Is it just a choice? Is it only a feeling? Is contentment the same thing? Or is it a precursor to it? Is it a coexisting relative of it? Don't worry, I am going to finish the story, but at the end of our time together in this episode. So what are some speed bumps that we encounter on the road of happiness? There are many, but I'm just going to present one of them, just for brevity's sake. I don't know if any of you have seen a movie that's titled The Greatest Showman. Well, it's a period movie, but all the music is modern. And it's a movie about the life of P.T. Barnum. I say that loosely. It's loosely about his life, very loosely. And in the movie, Jenny Lind performs a concert tour for P.T. Barnum. And both of these are real life people. They actually existed in real life. And this is, again, loosely based on their lives. But in the movie, she opens this concert tour with a pop song. It's a very, very lovely song. It has a beautiful melody. The lyrics are, shall we say, a little bit interesting. Again, beautiful song. Beautiful song. Interesting lyrics, interesting in quotation marks. And you can't escape what the title of the song is because she sings it over and over and over again, and it is never enough. Never enough. And what she's saying in the song is that if she doesn't get what she gets, what she's wanting, then she could gain the whole world and the stars and, all this poetic language for the lyrics of the song, and it wouldn't be enough if she didn't get what she wanted. However, in the movie, the such and such thing that she's wanting is another woman's husband and the father of that woman's 2 children. Yeah, there's a problem with that. There's a problem with that. So the internal, mental, and emotional or spiritual condition of never enough is found in the scriptures. And one of those places is in Proverbs 27, verse 20, and it says, "Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied." So being in that place in your mind, in your emotions, in your spirit, where you cannot be satisfied, is a very bad and, shall I say, unhealthy place to be. Very bad. However, how many celebrities in the last 120 years, regardless of what time period, political things going on in the day, how many celebrities do we have to see over the past 120 years that have fame, good looks, youth, health, money, sex, talent, and yet they try to escape their lives with drugs or end their lives via suicide? Philippians 4:11 says, "Not that I speak in respect of want, but I have learned in whatsoever state I am to be content." And again, all that I'm talking about today is very nuanced. There's a lot more to be said about it than I can say in just a very short episode. This is just a very surface level skimming of what is actually a very deep, nuanced topic. 1 Timothy 6:6 says, "Godliness with contentment," you can say with contentment "is great gain." So never satisfied, never enough is an anthem of the flesh, as we found out in Proverbs 27:30. But there's an old hymn that was written in 1887 that demonstrates the anthem of God's Spirit. Let me read you the lyrics to it. Most of you, I'd say a lot of you, might be able to sing it. I'm very familiar with this song. I always have loved it. It's one of my favorites. It says, "When we walk with the Lord in the light of His Word," there's that answer again, and most of the topics we have covered in our Proverbs, walk through Proverbs, the answer, it always comes down to the authority of God's Word. "When we walk with the Lord in the light of His Word, what a glory He sheds on our way. While we do His good will, He abides with us still, and with all who will trust and obey." And then the refrain is, "Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey." Proverbs 19:23 says, "The fear of the Lord," or trust, "tends to life, and he that has it shall abide satisfied." Let me read that again. "The fear of the Lord tends to life, and he that has it shall abide satisfied. He will not be visited with evil." So this week is actually chapter 16 in our walk through the book of Proverbs. And verse 20 gives us the Cliff Notes, the Cliff Notes answer to the issue of how to be happy. Again, if you're familiar with Cliff Notes, it's like when you're going to school and you don't want to spend the time, or you may not just have it, to read a big, huge book, then you get the Cliff Notes version, and it gives you the basic overview of what happens in the book and the characters and this, that, and the other. To save you the time of reading this much, you only have to read this much. Obviously not as good as reading the full thing, but it gives you the basic, in a nutshell, type of scenario. It gives you the in a nutshell version of the book. And so, this is where we find the in a nutshell answer to happiness. Is happiness a multifaceted issue? Yes, it is. I've already spoken. This is a nuanced, multifaceted issue. There, you could do an extensive study on this issue, how it relates to, how it differs from joy, for example, etc., 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 and all of the mental and emotional and physical things that play into it. That's all there. We do not have time to get into all of the nuance of it. But again, in a nutshell answer is in Proverbs 16, verse 20. And it is this. The last part of that verse says, "Whoso trusts in the Lord, happy is he." Whoso trusts in the Lord, happy is he. Now we could spend the rest of the week or rest of the year studying what trust means and what it means to trust in the Lord. But the book definition of trust is this: the firm belief in the reliability, the truth, and ability or strength of someone or something. And the word translated here was also translated as trust, security, and it could also mean confident carelessness. Not careless as in foolish, but careless as in a child does not have the care of paying taxes. That care is put upon the shoulder of the parent. So careless, not careless as in foolish. Happy means the feeling or showing of pleasure or contentment. Book definition. And the word here was also that is used for happy is also translated as blessed. So let me finish the story I began when we first started this episode. The father wrote his daughter back with some counsel, and he said, I'm going to paraphrase it. He said, "Don't worry about being happy. Don't worry about being happy. Don't pursue being happy. Forget about being happy. Focus on two things," was his counsel. Focus on being, number one, effective, and number two, efficient in the calling God has called you to. Being effective and efficient. And if you do that, happiness will come. That was the end of his counsel. So effective means to fully accomplish what you set out to do, and efficient means that you do said mission with the minimum amount of wasted time, the minimum amount of wasted effort, the minimum amount of wasted expense. There comes a point at which we all must attain security within ourselves, a confidence type of security in what he has called us to do. That takes maturity, doesn't it? Simple, but not easy. We must attain security or a confidence, a security in his call on our life. Because trust is an active, not a passive thing. So trust in the Lord, happy is he. So simple. Not necessarily easy. Let me close with a few scriptures here. Psalm 84:12 says, "O Lord of hosts, blessed," remember it could be translated other ways, "blessed is the man that trusts in thee." Psalm 40, verse 4, "Blessed is the man that makes the Lord his trust, and respects not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies." Psalm 5:11, "But let all those that put their trust in you rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy, because you defend them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful in thee." Psalm 2, verse 12, "Do homage to the Son, that he not become angry, and you perish in the way, for his wrath may soon be kindled. How blessed are all who take refuge in him." You know, if you have your sins forgiven and your name written in the Lamb's Book of Life, you are blessed. And in that sense, you are happy. We have all that we need to be happy. Simple, not easy. Proverbs 16:20. Whoso trusts in the Lord, happy is he. Lord, help us to apply this. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.